When it comes to the world of voiceover, your equipment matters. Your room matters the most, but the equipment you record on also matters significantly, not only for the quality of your voice, but also for the trust that you can build in your clients. So today we're going to talk about the equipment that I've been using for the last couple of years that I'm going to keep using going on into 2026, and a couple of extra pieces that I've added on along the way that you might want to think about utilizing to upgrade your current studio setup. Cool? All right, let's hop right in. First and foremost, let's start by talking about the thing that most people are interested in, and that is the microphone. Neumann is the company that most people in this world know. I use the TLM 103 for everything: animation, interactive, commercials, everything. I use the TLM 103. That is a small diaphragm condenser microphone. So all you need to know is it's going to be hyper realistic. It's not going to make your voice larger than life or your sound larger than life. Another popular microphone in the Neumann line is the U87. The U87 is an older series of microphones, but it's a large diaphragm condenser. So it's going to have a nice, warmer, sweeter type of sound to it, generally. There is also Sennheiser's MKH416, I believe it is, and that is a shotgun microphone, a line gradient shotgun microphone. So that's going to be really good at isolating your sound, your voice. It's going to isolate the sound of whatever that microphone is pointed at. These microphones are used in most studios, applications for voiceover, and a lot of people are going to know it. So when you tell a client that and they have an audio engineer, they're going to know the sound characteristics of this microphone, and they're going to be more comfortable utilizing it versus something that may be technically better, but they don't necessarily know the sonic characteristics or the sonic capabilities of that microphone. For that reason, I use the TLM 103 in everything that I do, and that's for that. Now, let's go to the audio interface. The audio interface is the second chain of command when it comes to a actual voiceover booth. There are two companies, once again, in this space. Universal Audio with their Apollo and their Volt line, and there's also Scarlett. The Apollo Volt line was the kind of industry standard. So if you said that you had a UA Apollo or now a UA Volt, once again, most clients know the quality. They understand what they're getting into. They understand, oh, I know that name, so I feel comfortable. That's how that goes. Now, there are two other pieces of outboard hardware that I utilize that aren't necessarily necessary, but do sweeten your sound a little bit. You can get away with just the mic and just the actual audio interface as long as you have a nice, clean room. And we're not talking about the room that I actually record in right now, just the equipment that I use to record on. Those two things in question are, and I have my book because I don't remember these names, the DBX 266XS. This is a limiter and a compressor. What you need to know is when you have very loud things like in interactives or in certain animations, a limiter stops your volume from getting above a certain point. So if you are like this loud, your limiter makes it so that you can't really hit that threshold. It squashes it down for you so you don't peak your microphone. Your compressor, what it does is it takes the quietest portions and it makes it higher, louder. It takes the louder portions and it makes it quieter. So it makes it more even so that you don't have huge peaks and valleys in your range. Once again, this is not necessarily necessary, but it is more pleasant for the end client. So I have a limiter / compressor on all of my recordings. It's just engaged throughout the whole entire time. I have it tuned to my space, my voice, my sound, and my typical peaks and valleys so that no matter what is on, it's doing a good job. That's number one. Number two, I also have a WA73 EQ. This is a preamp / EQ unit from Warm Audio. Now, preamp stands for preamplification. When you're speaking into a microphone, that is sound waves moving the actual capsule of that microphone, and that is taking that physical wave and turning it into electrical pulses that go down the actual cable. Now, these pulses are very, very small, and they need to be amplified. Your preamp amplifies those electrical signals into a signal that your computer can actually utilize. That's a very ignorant way that the whole process works. Your audio interface has a preamp built into it. The reason why I bought a secondary preamp is because I like warm audio. I like what they do to the sound. It utilizes a tube also so that you get a warmer, more saturated sound, and it's not just purely digital. So it's warmer, it's nicer, I like how it sounds on my voice, but you don't need one. This unit also has EQ built into it, and what that means is I can control the frequencies in this actual recording. So the lows, the low end, the mids, and the highs, I can tame them to kind of suit not only my space but also my voice. So if I want to boost the bass a little bit, yeah, I could just move into the microphone and take advantage of the proximity effect, or I can just kick up the bass a little bit. I don't touch it after I set it, but I could theoretically kick it up just a little bit. If I'm hearing some muddiness coming from the mids, I can turn that immediately down and combat those frequencies in real time. That's why I have this equipment, but it's not strictly necessary. It is just a nice to have. When it comes to voiceover, there are certain things and certain pieces of equipment that I would prefer to use, but I don't, because don't overcomplicate it. The microphones, the audio interfaces, the outboard gear that I have recommended today are all things that I've used from the very beginning all the way up to now when I am repped and SAG eligible. They get me consistent work, no client complains, and they all do the job. So, I hope that this helped. If you had any questions about my equipment and potential upgrades that you can have for your studio. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video.